world's largest oil companies has just ditched the dollar, opting instead for the euro. Russia's Rosneft has switched its contract currency of choice in lieu of U.S. sanctions. So for more details, let's turn to Investigative Journal.
Yeah, I think essentially what Rosneft just did was they decided that they were no longer going to accept the dollar as the currency of choice, and they're looking to essentially sell oil using euros and rubles in order to get around U.S. sanctions. I don't think certain nations, specifically BRICS nations, so Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa, those 5 nations as BRICS nations have made a concerted effort where they can to move away from the U.S. dollar. Because they don't like the fact that the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, and they certainly don't like the fact that the U.S. dollar is used as a hammer when it comes to sanctions to punish countries and to control global outcomes. So the Chinese have already attempted to do this, the Russians attempted to do it, Iran's attempted to do it, India's attempting to do it. It's happening on multiple fronts simultaneously, and I truly believe, I've said this before, Manila, this is probably one of the least talked about and yet most important issues of our time. Certainly for Americans and for the next generation of Americans coming along, that there are nations that are working very hard to dislodge the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency because of the way the U.S. has used it to hammer nations in the past. And they're reckoning for having used the U.S. dollar to batter other nations because eventually we're going to lose that world reserve currency status.
All right, Shalom. This is Har 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Harakakwadash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the 4 corners of the earth. This is Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies, man. Now you heard that the news reporter speaking, and they're saying clearly that the Russian oil company Rosneft, right, has dropped the dollar, had dumped the dollar, man. So they're not dealing with the dollars no more. They're going to the euros. They switched over to euros as a reserve currency for it's the currency of Europe. So they're switching over to that, and soon they can move away from the euro as well. But that right there was a major move in the midst of a slow recession for America. Now a recession is what? When all the countries start losing faith in the dollar, all right, or in a currency. Now Russia has decided to dump the dollar, and they're a major holder of American dollars, especially since the 1970s. So Russia has dumped the dollars. China's going to follow even more. All these other banks and countries are going to dump dollars in response to this, man. They're going to follow the trend. They're building the trend, and they're waiting for their leader to make the first move. All right, the guard watching over them, which is Russia, or China or Europe, whoever they deem as a powerhouse, and they start dumping the dollars. These smaller countries going to follow behind. Just like Venezuela, they had to move away from the dollar. They moved towards what? Oil. They moved towards cryptocurrency or blockchain system and pegged it to oil because they got a big oil reserve. And now you have Russia dumping dollars, man. They done. So people say there's no recession happening or it's going to happen. The recession has begun, man. A recession is when nations lose faith in the dollar now, or in the economy. So now you have a crash breathing down the neck of America. You have the dollar caught in a recession, and you got war breaking out in the midst. And all the fingers are being pointed at America. America is being made a gazing stock, as the scriptures say. All right, the same way the Lord destroyed Nineveh is the same way, the same way he destroyed Nineveh, the same way the Lord is going to destroy America. Same way he destroyed Babylon. Same way he destroyed Egypt. All right, he's gonna destroy America, man. He's gonna bring it all down. All right. So now it says what? Nahum, chapter 3, verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, of armies. And the Lord is against America, man. All right. America has been doing nothing but blasphemy and disrespecting the Lord and his people and his laws and his ways. And I will discover them been oppressing his people. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. And America's being discovered, getting caught with their skirt up, for the whore that it is. You walk in and catch a woman with a skirt up around a bunch of men, you're going to say, with a room full of men, you're going to say, that's a whore. That's the whore. And America's being caught as the whore. All right. Backdoor deals with all these different nations, using sanctions to trap these countries. And now these countries are saying they want to pull from under that. They saying they find that alternate routes or conduits to cancel out debt, to trade with each other. Because America, their power is what they were hammering and pounding these nations with sanctions, with their demonocracy, with war, putting their military all over the damn world. Right, bombing these nations with the help of NATO and the European Union, with the backing of NATO and the European Union. All right, and America has been dubbed as the peacemaker on the earth, but they've been bringing nothing but hell. They enlarge their desire as hell, and it is as death. That's talking about Esau ultimately, but and America is what? The protection for NATO, for the European Union. That's what they call them, the hammer of the earth. And that's what that Edomite was talking about, man. That's prophecy. On that news reporter. He's speaking prophecy. That lets you know what time we're in. America's being pointed out as that hammer. America's being pointed out as Babylon, the place of confusion. America's being pointed out as the whore, the adulterous nation that it is, wicked nation, oppressive nation, the doing all these different deals, backdoor deals with different, in bed with every nation, country around the world, man. And came up with their witchcraft, pushing the philosophies of Esau and the elites, and now they use that dollar to oppress all these nations and steal their resources, man. Steal the resources of these nations and weaken these nations, man. That's why the scriptures say that. All right, they weaken the nations. Now it says, verse 5, I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock, man. All the nations are looking at America now, saying, yo, we see the deception, because America was playing these nations, man. See Trump shaking hands with everybody and shit, Obama, Bush, but the whole time they were pushing the agenda of the European Union, the Illuminati, and keeping that grip, that power seat on the earth for their world order. Now they're looking for a new world order ever since 1970s. All right, now they're looking for a new world order as they're trying to bring in now. And it shall come to pass that as all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee and say, Nineveh is laid waste. All right, Nineveh fell in 612 BC, the Assyrian Empire under Ashurbanipal, all right, the son of Esarhaddon. And Ashurbanipal, that's how you say Assyrian in the original sense. It's called Asher, all right, from the Asherites. So now, so Nineveh is laid waste. America is going to be laid waste. Ultimately, it's going to be destroyed with ICBMs from these nations. All right. So the Lord going to put it in their heart to complete His will. This is Jeremiah 50:22. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder? And that newscaster was saying that. He said, "Yo, America's been hammering these nations, and that should be the main topic. That America's been using all their witchcraft to hammer these nations. All right, using their strength to hammer these nations, their missiles, their military, all their toys, man. Using the dollar, using their religion, all the three spirits that leaped out of the mouth of the frog, leaped out as a frog, from the dragon, all right, out of the mouth of the dragon, and America pushes that the money, all right, which was started by the Federal Reserve, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, the military set up by NATO, the religion set up by the Pope, the Catholic Church, all right, and the secret societies. You know, all these different idols over here in America. So they're using that to control these nations. All right. Now it says what? To pound these nations, to beat them small. But now these nations are saying they are strong. They got their, as soon as they switched off of the dollar, everybody's starting to see like, oh shit, now we're good. Now Venezuela can do deals with Russia, China, all these different countries, and America has no threat over them besides military threat. You see that? So the money, they can't threaten them no more, because if they dump the dollars, they dump all their reserves of dollars, get it out of their body, out of their banking. Then that frees them up of that cancer, the dollar. The dollar is a sinking currency. It's a debt note. All right, so they have to create more debt behind it to create more notes. See that? So the more you keep it in reserve, the more it costs to maintain it, and the less value it has by the time you spend it. So that's a sinking ship, man. That's piling stuff onto your boat, sinking in the water with holes in it. So to fix it up, they had to dump the dollars. So now all these proxy nations, all these countries, they're going to see this, man. They're going to see Russia's oil company dumping the dollar openly, boldly, dumping it like that in the midst of all this. Well, these nations are going to follow suit. They're going to say, yo, we might as well do the same thing, because if we dump the dollar, then we don't have to worry about America trading on us, turning on us and putting sanctions on us. So they don't have to worry about that. All right, they won't have to worry about what America did with Iran, all these and broke its missile treaties with Russia. How it was oppressing Venezuela. These nations watching that, man. Now they all gonna start dumping the dollars and say, you know what? Now America has no power over them. It says this, verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right. Now it says how America has been using the dollar to pound these nations, and the word hammer, which would be patayash, it would be to pound. See that right there? To pound, man. All right. So America is that hammer. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth? It's so clear, man, that America has been used as the hammer. They're like that gavel in the hand of Esau, the illuminated ones. All right. And they used it pound these nations, to beat the nations small and weaken them. All right. And with that dollar, they cause a lot of destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon, that's America today, become a desolation among the nations? How is that going to happen? It's because China's going to become the next king? No, none of that. Russia is going to be the next ruler and all this. No. You know what's going to happen? It says what? This is why it's happening. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken. So the Lord laid a snare for the hammer of the earth. A trap is set, and that everything America tries to set up, they set up the dollar. It became a trap for them. They created the missile. They set up the missiles, ICBM missiles. That became a trap for them. They went from atomic bombs to nuclear bombs. That became a trap for them. Now all of this stuff is being thrown back in America's face, literally. All right. They claim to be Christians. Now they're being held accountable to that by the men of the Lord that's out here prophesying. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but are mighty through Yahweh, pulling down the strongholds. All right, the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Lord. So it says, and that's what we're out here doing. It's prophesying against this place and rebuking this place according to the doctrine, according to the scriptures. All right, and this is a wicked nation. This is a whorish nation, Babylon, confusion. I have laid a snare for thee. So the Lord laid a trap for this place. Thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Whew. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. That's crazy, man. So it says, Yahweh have opened his armory, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And what's that? The missiles. So ultimately, these nations going to come together, and they're going to shoot missiles at America. And you can see it happening now. They're uniting against America openly. Turkey, Africa, right? China, Libya, Iran, all the nations, man, they're uniting against Israel, the land of Israel, and against America. And that's Ezekiel 38. Yahweh have opened his armory. So what's his armory? The plagues. And I have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And he brought that forth by having these scientists create and establish the missiles, having America establish the missiles, and creating their own trap for themselves. The dollar is becoming its own trap for America. All right. For this is the work of Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And Chaldean just means travelers or magi's, which would be today will represent Esau or America. All right. Let me read one more. It says, come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left, man. So how is the hammer, verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?